All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords. As always, I'm Andrew.
And I feel so fun. I'm going to have so much fun with this today. Big has given me the mixing board.
I made a decision because Jake had made a complaint previously that the soundboard's always on this side.
Okay.
So I thought, do you know what, fuck it, he can have it on that side because I'm always too distracted to actually remember to press buttons. And then when he asks me to, I'm not. So I was like, Jake.
Sorry.
May have been a mistake.
Yes.
But my theory was it's a nice little, I don't know, to give the other person, see what happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's random sound bites on there that don't get used. Maybe yourself will. And look, it might work, it might not. We'll see how it goes.
Won't. I'll just be pressing buttons for days now.
But it's a nice little icebreaker, I feel like. It makes you feel more like, oh, I've got something
to do. Fun. Fun.
So how are we doing, mate?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
It's not been that long this time.
It's only been a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah. You're just part of the furniture.
I am.
Now.
Feel, as I said the other day, I feel comfortable here.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Good.
That's what we want. So have you got anything you want to talk about? Let's do the Jake.
No, not today. I was just like, not
been up to anything fun? What have you been doing with yourself?
What have I been up to?
Any golf? I know you like a bit of golf.
No golf.
Is that because Jake's away?
Just don't like playing. I don't like playing golf in winter.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just too windy?
Just
I guess that makes it more difficult.
Too windy,
as well,
it's too wet.
And it's dark too early and too early in the morning.
It's not fun. It's better in the summer. And it's better when you've got people around you as
It must be difficult to putt when it's really wet.
Yeah. They try, and the golf course down the Oaks, they try and keep it quite nice and
But
tidy,
it's difficult. If it's windy and shit, you're going to get leaves everywhere. And I think the only time I ever played there, it was like, I don't know, a bit like that. It was a bit cold, a bit wet.
It was when you played the 9-hole, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've
never done an 18 hole. I don't think I've got it in me.
I need to take you to come and do an 18 hole.
The problem is, it's two things. It's one, it's my back.
Yeah.
Like the walking's not a problem now. I can be on my feet for that length of time. Before I couldn't. But genuinely, I think the last time we played golf for several days, my back was just
killing.
Because I'm just not used to it. Even when I went down the driving range the last time, for several days afterwards, because I'd made the mistake in like 200 balls. 100 balls
will be enough.
Will be more than enough. I think the next time I go, and then you build it up, don't you?
Yeah. My hip, because I
don't mind golf.
I've got a touch of sciatica.
Okay, is that like a slip disc?
So it's just
or a trapped nerve. Okay,
it just goes down the side of your leg.
Yeah.
And I think obviously because I'm swinging my hips when I hit the golf ball.
Yeah. Well, Tiger Woods struggled with that, didn't he? He got a really bad. He had to completely redo his golf swing, didn't he? Do you know? I saw a ridiculous video of him, by the way, once. Just sometimes I get in a haze and I'll be like watching YouTube and I'll just go down just random videos.
Yeah.
And one of them was Tiger Woods meeting up with this YouTube channel in America that does golfing videos, and they were doing a drive competition with him. And the guy who was like the best one out of them in the group was like, "I'll go against you first."
Okay.
And Tiger's like, "Okay, well you go first, and then I know how far I've got to hit it."
Yeah.
And so the guy and his group are he pulls up. We've never seen him hit a shot like this before. He manages to pull one out the bag, and he's like, "Oh, I might actually have a chance here." Tiger Woods gets on his knees and drives it much, much further with very little effort. And they're all just stood there, oh, fuck. Levels to this game, isn't it?
There's I was watching, so do you know who Bryson DeChambeau is?
No.
Okay. Top golfer.
Okay. I have no idea who's golfing nowadays. Tiger Woods, I know Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Lee Poulter?
Yeah, he's still about just...
Who's the big guy that's British? Poof. No, it's not Poof. It's something like Pete. No. Jordan something, isn't it? No? Justin?
You feel about Jordan Spieth?
That's the one.
American?
Spieth, that's the one. I know who he is. I wasn't saying he was
British.
Oh,
right, okay. He's a British guy. Big British guy.
All right, whatever.
And then you're thinking about the Justin, it's maybe Justin Thomas. Were you thinking of him?
No, okay. It wasn't him. It was Spieth I was thinking of. For some reason I thought he was British.
So he's got a TikTok account and he's like, he was trying to make a hole in one. So he's got, but over his house.
Right, okay.
So he's got a putting green on the other side, and then he was hitting his ball. So some amateur golfer tried to copy him.
Right, okay. How did they get on?
The ball smashed through the window, and his missus like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah. The one thing I think is a bit
hilarious.
sad is when you see those blokes with like a virtual driving range.
Oh yeah,
because that's not satisfying, is
it's
it?
not.
Like the thing that's enjoyable about a driving range is when you hit a good shot, because you get to watch it go flying. But you don't. You just see it hit a wall.
Yeah.
And then a virtual ball goes flying.
Yeah. Sorry. No, keep going. I'm just going through the sound
I was bracing myself.
No.
Right. I'll tell you what. A nice little subject, because we've talked about Southgate before. Have you heard the latest with the Ben White stuff?
No. I know he didn't want to play under. It weren't Southgate. It was
one of his assistants, Holland, I think.
Yeah,
Steve Holland.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, he didn't want to play under either of them.
Okay.
Because the minute Southgate and his team were gone, he's come out and said he's happy to play for England
again.
And I wanted to know what you thought about it. Do you think it was wrong for him to refuse to play for England?
I think so.
Yeah?
If you get... Anytime you get called up for your country, you should
regardless
take it.
of the reason?
Doesn't matter.
Really?
100%.
Because he claims he feels he was being bullied by the coaching staff. And I've heard stuff recently. Darren Bent says he knows a few of the England players.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just telling you what he said.
Oh, okay.
And he said when he spoke to them, the way it was handled by Southgate lost him a lot of respect from the players, because they were uncomfortable with how Ben White was treated by the coaching staff. And he actually tried to have a conversation with Southgate.
And Southgate weren't having it.
Southgate was like, I'm just backing my coach. I don't care what happened. If he tells me he's not been out of order, I trust him.
I can see why he wouldn't want to get called up.
If the whole team thinks that Ben White was justified to be upset, and then Southgate's gone, well, I'm not even going to discuss it, and we're told he's this great man.
Is it a little bit though of just him throwing his toys on players? I don't like how I'm playing, so I'm not going to play for you.
Well, no, it's not about how we're playing. It's about how
how he's being treated. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you were at work and you were being mistreated, you wouldn't want to go to work, would you?
Of course I wouldn't.
So there's not really anything, and he's not paid a huge amount. He's not paid anything to go play for England.
But playing for your country is just a huge honour, though.
No, but I actually think, if anything, that means we should take it more seriously. If someone's willing to not play for their country because of the way they were treated, for me, that tells me they were treated so badly that they're willing to not play for their country.
That's fair enough.
Not that they should just have to put up with it because they're playing for their country.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, yeah, I think it's wrong.
There you go then.
But it made me wonder, do you think that played a part in the players? It would, to me, make more sense in terms of how the players performed under Southgate in the last tournament if they weren't really believing in him anymore.
Yeah,
and I wonder if that played a part.
I think so.
Yeah.
Still got to a semi-final though, didn't we? No, we got to a final.
Got to a final, but still lost.
Still lost.
Yeah. Are you... Because have we talked about him since leaving? So are you still a Southgate supporter?
Yeah.
Do you still think he did a good job?
Yeah, I think so. I still think he did.
I think because the thing is, Jake would still say, because Jake's very critical of him now, he agrees with me that it's good that he's gone.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's good that he's gone.
But the only thing Jake defends him on is that he created a good atmosphere around England and changed that. And I think he did do that initially, but I think it then went the opposite way.
Direction, yeah.
So then for me, he didn't do a good job in any way, because what he did good in the beginning, he couldn't. That was, if anything, luck in the beginning, because he couldn't maintain it for the whole time.
I think my thing of, you got to, needless of who we played, you got to look at the results. It's a quarter, so it's one quarter final, which we should have beat France.
Yeah, you can argue in each of those tournaments.
It's one semi-final and two finals.
Slightly difficult, or that was even like Spain. I'm least bothered about, because I think Spain are better than. In terms, it's quite obvious when you watch that game that Spain were well drilled. Every single one of those players knew exactly what they were doing and were better at doing it than England were. I don't judge Southgate for losing that game, other than the fact his tactics were appalling. Yeah.
As you said, we should have beat Italy in the final.
Absolutely, we should have beaten Croatia.
Should have beaten Croatia,
and then what was the other one? I didn't watch the Qatar one.
Qatar was France.
Yeah, and from what I heard, we probably should have beaten them as well.
Yeah.
So I would argue, he did well to get us there, but then did appallingly once he got us there.
Yeah.
So he wasn't actually good at the job, because he for me, it's bare minimum with those players. Those are the sort of levels you should be getting to.
What was it 2018?
Because Tuchel now, he's like, the expectation is I have to win the World Cup. Yeah. That's what he's there to do. That's what
I think I was saying this when I did pod with Jake. I think Tuchel will be annoyed if he doesn't win something.
Yeah. And
I said even if it's the Nations League, he'll want to win something.
Yeah, I think he's been honest in the sense that the bar is the World Cup.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care who brings us it, to be honest with you. If Southgate would have brought us it, I'd have been just as happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would have still been critical of how he did it. But I wouldn't have given a shit.
What was your take on Tuchel getting the job?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have felt slightly different about it just because I was a bit more of a knob back then.
Okay.
Like there would have been the nationalistic part of me that would have been like, oh, I don't know about a German being in charge. But ultimately, if they're the best
man for the job,
he's far more qualified than anyone else who was up for the job. And he's got a track record in knockout football.
Yeah.
So on paper, it should work. But
let's see.
Like my sister said to me, "Oh, you might enjoy the next tournament." I was like, "No, don't be." I've never enjoyed England playing in a tournament in my life.
What is the next tournament?
The
World Cup. It's the next World Cup, isn't it? We've just had the Euros, haven't we?
Yeah. So, or is it the Nations League?
No, Nations League's done now, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because we qualified.
Is there not a knockout stage? In the Nations
because
League?
we have. To
I don't actually really know what it is.
You have to be in the top group to be in the final.
We got relegated
because we got relegated. Now we got re-promoted up into tier 8,
which Lee Carsley did basically.
Yeah,
didn't he?
more or less.
Yeah. Fair enough. Would you like to see Tuchel continue to experiment with the England squad?
No,
because I kind of liked under Carsley that we saw someone like Angel Gomez.
Oh yeah, no. I thought you were talking about
bring in different players that we've not seen in an England shirt before.
Yeah, 100%.
But I wouldn't mind seeing Pickford drop in Nations League games.
Yeah.
To see another keeper in the goal, see how they do.
Yeah.
Because we know how Pickford performs at a tournament, and we know he turns up at tournaments. If you want him to be your number one, you can say to him, "You're my number one," but in the shit games, you're just not going to feature.
Not going to play, yeah.
But I would personally like to see those sort of players still make it in, like an Angel Gomez, because I think he's shown we've got different options. And I
think it's like Fikayo Tomori.
Yeah, the fact he's not been in the England squad previously when he's been playing as one of the best centre backs in Europe.
Yeah.
So no, I agree with you. But yeah, so you'd be into a bit more rotation.
I didn't like it was the Greece game that he
Wasn't that the game where he did what the fans wanted?
Yeah, and
he was like, I'm putting them all on the pitch.
It did not
and
go
I think
well.
that was deliberate. I think he was like, fine, look, I'm going to show you what that looks like, and it doesn't look good.
It doesn't work.
So I think, and that's something England have always been bad at. Like, we couldn't do it with Gerrard, Scholes and Lampard. Yeah. A manager wasn't willing to just make a decision and go, these are the two I'm going to use and the rest can fuck off.
Play everybody in.
Yeah,
everywhere.
like Scholes went to left wing.
Yeah.
So it's something we've never learnt the lesson of for some reason. So
I think I said you pick your best player in the position that they play.
Well, and that was one of the things with Southgate. To bring it back to him for a second, in the sense of like Kieran Trippier playing at left back. Kieran Trippier's a really good player. I think he's really good. He's not a left back. So
I think,
and when there are English options out there, even if they might not be as good as him on the attack, if he can play the position, I'd rather we picked him.
You got Timo Livramento, Newcastle.
Again, he's naturally a right back.
He can play. He's been playing left back for Newcastle, hasn't he?
His traditional position. He started off as a right back. So
again, Palace bias. Derek Mitchell.
Well, yeah, but like for me, defensively, could he have done the job for England? Absolutely. But I've been very honest about Tyreek Mitchell that on the attack he's got very little.
He's getting better. Though.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Glasner can get something out of him.
Yeah.
But I think part of that is you need a player that pushes you, and like I think he could do with an older wing back to sort of be like, here's how you cross a fucking ball.
Football,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And that's something I've always struggled with footballers in general. And Jake said on the pod before, like, how are players one-footed? Yeah. Like, if you're that good at football and all you do is football, how you should at least be able to kick a ball with that foot.
Like Michael Elise is such a good player. He's so left-footed. He's got 1 foot.
But the thing is, there is also a thing of like, and you had it with Ian Robben, where if you're just really good at what you do, there's fuck all a player can do to stop you.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. Everyone knew Robben was going to cut in from his left
foot. Yeah.
But it worked. It doesn't. It's the same for Elise. You know what I mean? You know what he's going to do. Again, you can't fucking stop him.
You still got to be able to play with both feet.
Oh, totally. Yeah. You've got to at least be able to pass a ball with the other foot. I'm not asking for 70 yards cross balls, but
Ping.
Do you know what I mean? You can't always do what I can do on a football.
Yeah. Hey, there's sometimes you can pull it. You could have when you did put it off.
It was always confidence for me.
Yeah.
And I would I've said it to Ash before, and he said he wished I'd said something sooner. I was always so concerned about what someone was going to say to me, and it led me to not do things properly and make a mistake.
Yeah.
And Ash was like, I wish you'd have said something. And it wasn't just him, it was players like Andrew as well, because he was always really critical. And like, rightly so, they're allowed to demand you play better. But, you know, it was my own confidence issues that always limited me. That and the fact I was always like, overweight.
Yeah.
But no, I remember like once we went to, I don't know if you were there for it, we used to go to, there was a kick around game at a local football club near Sutton.
Okay.
And like there was always random people there, but like loads of our group as well, people like Ben, Ash and others.
Oh, up at Tooting Mitcham.
Yeah, I was trying to not say the name, but I try not to dox, but fair enough. At Tooting Mitcham Football Club.
Yeah.
And there was one game where I did fuck all the entire time. And I was like, I just want one moment, and I played like a 30, 40-yard ball over the back of the defence. Because as I went to do it, I'd been so shit that one of the players on my team was like, what is he doing? As I was winding up the pass, because the guy was making a run.
Yeah.
And I actually managed to pull it off. And he was like, all right, no, fair play. And I was like,
well
done. You know what I mean? I had my moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm shit at football.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That's why I play in goal.
Yeah.
I can't play outfield.
Yeah. No, to be fair, you're not terrible. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't got the stamina to play outfield. That's the problem.
No, like the fact we used to be able to play like 2 or 3 games on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Was mental. I don't know how. I had no way I could do that now.
No. Never been able to do it, so that's why I was like, stay in goal.
Well, you used to in goal, like, and that, you used to have to throw yourself around, like, so it's still physically taxing. Do you know what I mean? And particularly in five-a-side, you'd be doing a lot of like from one side, like having to jump up and down. Do you know what I mean? But what I loved was you had this signature save of saving it with your ass.
Yes.
Where you used to just drop. And the amount of times you'd be like, oh, it's about to go in, and like somehow your ass stopped it. And the opposition player would be like, how the fuck is that? Right. Shall we? Jake sent us a message.
Okay, let's listen to it. Do I need to press something?
Hello, gang.
No, you don't.
How are we? So, question time. It's that time again of the week. Time again in the podcast. With Christmas around the corner, I've got this very festive question for you. What age do you think is too old to still believe in Santa? Now, obviously, I'm not expecting you to say like 70 or 80. What I mean is, what's the youngest age that you think is too old to believe in Santa? Now, bear in mind, it probably depends on the child and each child-by-child basis. But, you know, what's the youngest age that you would hear and you go, what, they still believe in Santa? That's mental. Enjoy the podcast, enjoy the week, and I should be back before you know it, unfortunately. Bye.
It's definitely unfortunately.
Why is he talking about Santa not being real? Santa's real, no?
I think so. I think so. Alex, I don't know what to say to you. I think you need to go home and have a conversation with your parents. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, great. So, I think anything over the age of 12, 13.
I think I've got like a really soppy answer.
Go on then.
Whereas I always want to believe in the magic of Santa Claus and Christmas. I don't get that feeling anymore. Like I actually find it quite heartbreaking, actually, that feeling I used to get as a kid about Christmas. And I'd say I even had it up to maybe about 12.
Yeah.
Of like being excited for Christmas and that feeling in your stomach of like, oh my God, this is incredible.
I think it's second when you get into year 7. So I think that is about 12, 13.
It's 11, 12. Yeah.
And you get a bit more mature while you're in.
I don't know. Like, I don't remember it going. I just remember it not being there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just find that really sad because there is and you get to get it a little bit. Like I've got nephews, and watching him grow up and enjoy Christmas, and like we went to Lapland with him, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And so like you can sort of get it vicariously through children, but you never get to actually feel it again.
Yourself, yeah.
So like I sort of believe you should always sort of try and keep the magic of Christmas.
Yeah, of course you can't.
But yeah, I would say if a kid was like 13, 14, 15 and he's still like,
still believes in
I need to get to bed early because Santa's coming, I would be a bit like, do we need to have a conversation with him?
Yeah.
But I think...
Do you remember how you knew?
No, I don't actually. I don't actually know.
No?
No.
Did you just...
Someone must have just told me.
Okay.
Or maybe it was like at school or...
So I remember...
Or I think you just figure it out, don't you? You're like, none of this actually makes sense.
I remember when I was about... I think it was about 12 or 13. I went to bed. I got up during the middle of the night.
And you
I
called
went
your parents.
downstairs. My parents were downstairs wrapping presents.
See, that was the thing, actually. That might be similar to me. But my parents always, it was normally like Christmas Eve. They started wrapping presents.
Yeah, that's why it was. It was. I went to bed Christmas
So
Eve.
it's probably the same because my bedroom was just at the top of the stairs. So I used to hear everything that was going on down. So that's probably similar, thinking about how I would have learned. Because there was one year where we convinced Mum and Dad to let us have our presents in the room, so Santa would deliver them to our bedroom.
Oh, okay.
And I think my sister woke up while my dad was putting the presents in her room. But I think by that point she already knew Santa wasn't real.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I think people should just keep... like, the shame about working in retail is it has ruined Christmas for me because there's such a long run up to it. Like, it starts in August for me.
Yeah.
But this year, because there's been a chunk of time where I've not actually been working in an active shop at times, I've not really, like, normally within what I do at the company, I'm quite often heavily involved in the Christmas side of things.
Okay.
Whereas I haven't been as much this year. So it's felt...
bit better.
Yeah, I've been more excited about Christmas this year, and I've got both Christmas Day and Boxing Day off this year.
I've got Christmas Day and Boxing Day off.
So yeah, I'm quite like, yeah. I'm looking forward to Christmas this year.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to any Christmas songs unless they've been on the radio.
On the radio,
or whatever.
I haven't, physically gone out
I've watched
looking
my
for it.
first Christmas film.
Oh, have you?
I
What
watched
you
The
watched?
Polar Express.
Oh, nice.
It's like a low-key favourite of mine.
Muppets Christmas Carol's my favourite movie. Christmas movie.
I don't remember.
Do you not like it?
I think I liked it when I was a kid.
Oh, it's a great movie.
But yeah, I haven't watched that for a very long... I know it's very good.
It's a great movie.
But I haven't watched that for a very long time. Normally the ones I watch are Santa Claus, number 1.
Yeah.
But I also love 2 and 3 of Santa Claus.
Okay.
Particularly number 2 because they have Jack Frost in it and I just like his character in it.
Fair enough.
The other one that's low-key quite good is the one with... is it Kurt Russell? Christmas Chronicles. The first one in particular is really
Never
good. It's a
seen
Netflix Christmas film.
Never
So I'd
seen
recommend, maybe if you haven't seen it,
Okay.
maybe give it a try.
Elf.
No, I don't like
No?
it. I watched like half an hour of it once and just hated it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just not
Will
into
Ferrell
it.
just acting very, very stupidly.
Yeah, I just didn't like it.
No.
I didn't get it. Like,
Okay,
I
fair
just
enough.
didn't do it
Everybody
for
loves
me.
Elf. Everybody hypes up Elf.
The one I was really disappointed in, was it last year? The one with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell? Oh, and they were like, one of them was dead.
Oh, I
and
don't know.
yeah, it was absolute. And it was
Was
like
it
the big
trash?
Christmas film last year. And it was
okay.
absolute dog shit. And I was really
I
excited
think
to see
he's
it.
in one again this year. Is with Dwayne Johnson. It's called Red, isn't it?
No, that's not Ryan Reynolds. That's Chris Evans.
Oh, is that Chris Evans? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Red One.
Red One.
Which again, I thought looked all right, but apparently it's
Is
not
it
doing well
shockingly
at
bad?
all.
Okay.
And like, because apparently they originally made it to just go on streaming services.
Okay.
So they paid The Rock like 50 million to do it because that's his minimum charge now to do a movie. But the film cost without advertising like 250 million to make.
Oh, okay.
And apparently it's made like next to nothing so far. So yeah, it's not looking good.
Big Christmas thing I'm looking forward to is the new Wallace and Gromit.
What new Wallace and Gromit?
Have you never?
I'm not a big into Wallace and Gromit, to be
Wallace
honest.
and
with you.
Gromit.
I never really got it when I was a kid.
Vengeance Most Foul. It's so you know. Do you remember the Wrong Trousers?
No.
Oh, Andrew. Oh, Andrew.
I was busy playing with toys when I was a kid. I didn't watch that sort of thing.
Okay, then there's no point talking to you about it then,
Oh,
is there?
that's sad. What are you excited about?
Because it's the return of Feathers McGraw.
No, look, we obviously can't. I don't know who is Feathers McGraw.
He's the penguin in Wrong Trousers who's the diamond thief.
Of course.
Oh, only if Jake was here.
What's your other favourite? What favourite Christmas films have you got other than Muppets Christmas
Muppets
Carol?
Christmas Carol. What else do I normally sit down and watch?
Is there ever one like you and your family every year? You're like, this is the one we got to watch.
No, not really.
No.
No,
What's Christmas Day like in your house?
not much. We open presents in the morning.
Yeah.
We normally sit
Who
down.
opens first? Parents or you?
So we go do a circle.
What, like one at a time?
One at a time.
Oh, Jesus, that must take forever.
20 minutes, half hour. 20
Really?
minutes. Yeah, it's not that long.
See, when we were kids, we always let our parents open first.
Okay.
And my mum's one of these people, she feels every present. And she wants to guess what it is. And like, you'd be so excited on Christmas Day. You're just staring at your presents and mum's just like,
Obviously, because my sister's away at them, obviously sister lives abroad now. So
Yeah,
we got to
yeah.
FaceTime her. when we open our presents.
Nice. Has she got any children?
No.
Okay. Fair
No.
enough. I wasn't sure.
No.
Fair enough.
But what other Christmas films do I watch? Oh, go away. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me.
How dare they?
I know.
It's just rude.
No, not really. I just normally just sit in front of the TV and just see what's on.
Yeah.
And I'll just watch it. Yeah.
That's fair. What about worst Christmas film?
Worst Christmas film? See, I don't like Elf either.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably put that up there as one of the worst, to be fair. No, I'm on board with it.
Yeah.
Right. One of the subjects I want to talk about, still football related, was, have you seen the Jeff Stelling rant?
About the 3 p.m. blackout, yeah.
Shall we play it for the listeners?
Go on then.
1 second. Just got to load it up.
Greedy Premier League, it's all about us. You lot, you can go and do one. We don't care about you. There's no point in comparing it with European leagues for a start, because football in England, the pyramid is totally different. In this country, people care about teams in the Championship, in League One, in League Two, in the National League. It seems the Premier League don't care at all. And frankly, the fact that the Premier League, or whoever it is, are saying that they're worried about illegal streaming, so what? So what? Tell the TV companies to cut the price of subscriptions, and that will stop people streaming things illegally instead. They've got to start to look after the lower league sides. If Grimsby are playing Morecambe Saturday afternoon, it's cold, wet and miserable, and Manchester United against Manchester City is on TV live at 3 o'clock, how many people are going to go to Grimsby against Morecambe? I can tell you how many. A big fat zero. And that will be the end of clubs at a lower level.
Agreed. I couldn't. I know you're.
What do you think?
I 100% get where he's coming from.
I don't really agree, though.
I can get where he's coming from, but again, all those big, what you're saying about the big games, they never ever on a 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
No.
When do you ever see a big massive game?
I can't remember who I was listening to, but they were mates with, or like knew a couple of the higher ups at the Premier League, and they said the 3 p.m. blackout isn't to support lower league clubs. That's not why they have it. It is entirely to encourage people to watch the big six teams and watch their games, because as you just said, they're rarely on the 3 p.m. blackout. Yeah. They are now, but not when they're playing each other.
Not when they're playing each other.
So because of that, that's what it's there for. So it's got nothing to do with lower league clubs. And actually, to be honest with you, I don't agree with it will affect people going watching Grimsby or whoever it is. Because if you're a match-going fan, you're a match-going fan.
Exactly.
Like, I don't like the 3 p.m. blackout, because quite often the time I can watch Crystal Palace is at 3 p.m.
on a Saturday.
And I can never do it unless I want to break the law.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most of the time it's an absolute ball ache trying to do that, so I don't even bother.
Trying to find a stream.
So I just miss out on watching Palace.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to then have to have a VPN and pay for a subscription abroad, or do you know what I mean? Because you can. Like, there's Canadian companies that do one-off passes.
The Americans,
and you can just say you're in Canada and pay for it.
Peacock, you can do it as well.
Yeah. So, like, there's ways around it. Yeah. But again, like, it all just costs so much money.
So I've got a Now TV account.
Yeah.
I've got
and that's what, £20 a month?
I put another 20 quid on that.
Is it £40 a month for sports?
For sports, and I pay about 50 quid altogether for sports, entertainment and movies on Now TV. I then pay for my Amazon Prime. Like this week, there's been all the games have been on Prime this week. So you have a subscription for that. Yeah. Pay 30 quid a month for TNT. Yeah. So
you're looking at
over 100 quid.
Yeah, it's mental.
If you want, and again, there's only.
Do you think it would help if the Premier League did their own service? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they created a Premier League app where all the games were put on everybody, it didn't matter where you were in the world, you could subscribe to the Premier League app for £20 a month. Yeah. And you could get a couple billion people to subscribe. You're making just as much money as you're making now.
I think it should be like, what is your team you want to watch? Yeah. You want to watch the Palace games? Okay, you pay a certain amount a month, and we'll give you. Or you can watch. You can stream all the Palace games on. You don't have to watch every single game. It's just your team.
Yeah.
would you pay £20 a month to do that?
Maybe, probably not. If it was all the games,
Okay.
I probably would. But not for just exclusively Palace games,
Okay.
no. Because I just don't have that sort of disposable income
Yeah.
that I can be like, yeah, I'm happy to spend £20 a month.
Or you
on
can
that.
watch one game at so say you can watch one game at 3:00.
No, again, I feel like it is actually quite simple. Like if the Premier League had a service where you could play it, like you could even they could do a deal with other streaming services and be like, if you have a membership to this, you get X amount off.
Yeah.
But have a service where it's like £20, £30 a month, but you get to watch all Premier League games. But not just that, they could have podcast coverage, all sorts of stuff on there to make people like do their own versions of things like the overlap and things like that are really successful on YouTube at the moment. But I think the problem is it's just all about ones and zeros, isn't it? Because they're talking about getting rid of the 3 p.m. blackout, but that's so they can charge more money. There's more games on television, they can charge more money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they don't want to charge us less. And the thing is, match-going fans aren't actually important to these people, to any clubs, really. Like, I'd like to think in the lower half of the Premier League, like at Palace, for example, match-going fans are still somewhat important. But I actually don't. I think I've seen enough online to know even Palace aren't treating match-going fans properly, in my opinion. So I think just in general, the sort of person like we know, Dan, who's a season ticket holder who goes to every home game, he's not valuable to Crystal Palace because he's not going there, going in the club shop. Once a year, he'll go and get the new shirt, maybe the away shirt as well. So what's that? He's paying, about 500 quid for a season ticket now?
He doesn't particularly go to all the away games.
No, exactly. So
he won't spend any money in the bars or anything like that.
100%. So all they're getting from him is roughly about £600 a year.
Yeah.
That's nothing to the Premier League club. So they would actually rather people like Dan watched it from their house. So that's why they want to get rid of the 3 p.m. blackout. So people like Dan might go, actually, it's shit. If I can watch all of Palace's games now, other than the away ones, on a streaming service, maybe he does. He might not. Dan's been going, for example, I'm just talking about Dan in general, but a fan like Dan might make that decision. Or they might say, well, no, actually, I've been going to see my club my entire life nearly.
I'm not going to.
So I'm not going to stop doing it. But that would then free up seats in stadiums to be sold to tourist fans, because that's the thing, particularly for the big clubs like a United or a Liverpool,
massively tourist
people will come from all over the world to go and watch them play football. But they go in the shop, they go in hospitality, they go in the bars, they spend money in the place, and they're probably going to spend $1,000 every time they come. So it's
even at Palace that happens. The amount of tourists you see,
and the sort of people that support lower league clubs are going to continue to support lower league clubs. If anything, what the argument should be is more of the money from the Premier League should be filtering down
back into
But the problem is,
they're two separate entities, aren't they? You got the EFL and then you got the Premier
whereas
League.
I actually think they feed into each other. Like the reason I think English football is so exciting is because the best league is the Premier League. And then you've got access to it. Do you know what I mean? There's jeopardy. That's why I don't think American sports are as good, because there's no real jeopardy.
You're always going to be in that big league next season.
Whereas this season, it's like Palace could go down. So there is fuck, this means more. But because there's so much money in the Premier League, I feel like football's becoming a bubble where, like in the Championship, I couldn't get figures for this season, but the season before, or the season before that, like Forest were spending 200% of their income just on wages. Reading, the year they went down, nearly the same figure. Like most Championship clubs operate at over 100% increase. So that means like the second those owners, and we're seeing it over and over again with Reading, Birmingham, as soon as a club, the owner goes, do you know what, I haven't got the money to throw at this anymore, they're fucked.
Well, that's what happened in Reading, wasn't it?
And I think we're going to see more and more clubs go out of business or be at risk of going out of business until the bubble of the Premier League pops, because the money they're spending is insane. Like, I actually got
Did you get a figure up?
A figure, 1 second. Because all the clubs in the Premier, or most of the clubs in the Premier League are spending silly money. Is this the Premier League one? I ain't got my glasses on. Yes, this is the Premier League one, and this is the one for 22 and 23.
Okay.
And Palace, we were spending 77% of our income just on wages.
On wages, okay.
The top team was Leicester with 116%. Nottingham Forest was 94%. I mean, that says how much the income goes up, doesn't it? So they went from 200% to just under 100.
Yeah.
Everton 92%, Aston Villa 89%, Southampton 84%, Wolves 84%, Chelsea 79%. I bet that's more now. Newcastle 75, Burnley 75, Bournemouth 70. The lowest teams are West Ham on 58, Man City 59, United 51, Arsenal 51, and Tottenham on 46. So they're the best run club in terms of that regard.
Daniel Levy runs that club very strictly, doesn't he?
Well,
so
and I think their stadium brings in so much commercial revenue that they're in quite a comfortable position.
Sorry, I haven't pressed a button for a while.
Love a bit of John Burkhardt, so I'll never be upset with that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's quite worrying what's happening with football. I do think at some point it is just going to pop. And I've said before, I think Palace will end up being priced out of the league.
Yeah.
Unless they're lucky enough to get a nation state decide to transform.
Would you want that to happen though?
Well, it depends on. In general, I'm against nation states owning a football club. I just don't think that's a good thing.
No.
Because the money is just insane. And it's also really corrupt what's gone on with the Premier League in regards to Man City, to be honest with you. Like the fact they were allowed to have a nation state come in, transform the football club, inflate everything fraudulently, pay people fraudulently, do all sorts of madness. And then once they've become an established top team, change the rules so that no one else could do what they did.
Yeah.
And I don't feel sorry for Newcastle because they've got Saudi owners, and I don't think Saudi Arabia should be allowed to own. Just like I don't think Dubai should be allowed to own a football club, or and Qatar were going to try and buy Man United. It's just mental.
Crazy, isn't it?
What do you think about the Man City charges?
What, the 115? Well, they should be done, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think it's mental that Nottingham Forest and Everton have been done.
Yeah, and Man City.
There's very similar crimes, but lesser crimes.
But do you know why?
Why?
It's because Everton and Forest have admitted.
Well, they've put their hands up and gone, we fluffed the numbers a bit.
We haven't done anything.
We've
done nothing.
They've been caught with the dead baby in their hand and the gun in the other, and they're like, well, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's why it's taking so long, because Man City are denying it.
And also their resources. They've just got the resources to, like, the fact they haven't been, apparently it's coming this season, but we heard that last season. What do you think the punishment should be? Because there's talk of relegation, but then what league do you relegate them to?
Do you relegate them to league?
I've heard some people say they reckon it should be the National League.
National League. So you remember what happened with because more or less what same thing has happened with Rangers, wasn't it?
Well, there's this they dissolved.
Yeah.
They dissolved, and then because they dissolved, they lost their place in the league, and they had to start from
the bottom.
Was it League
2? Yeah.
But then when they came back, they had no debt, wealthy owners, and they were able to rebuild. Whereas with City, I don't know if they'd go out a bit. I mean, it depends. Would the owners stick around? Would they flog it off? I don't know.
Obviously, they'll try to flog it. If they're not in the Premier League anymore, they'll try to flog it off. But I don't think they'll get done. They'll get.
I think they'll get a massive.
They'll get a massive. They'll get.
Do you reckon 100 million
massive fine
or something like that?
Massive fine, something like that, and that's all they'll get. They won't get any. Maybe
they should get a point,
and then maybe like a 20-point deduction.
I probably would and I know it's unfair on the fans, but they've been happy to turn a blind eye to what's been good. And if you listen to Man City fans talk about it, they're like, well, not innocent until proven guilty, and it's like, fuck off. Bunch of wankers. What about? Oh, go on. What are you pressing?
No. I don't
know.
Not
that. Oh, I didn't know what you were about to press. Then.
I have no idea.
I'm on board with it. Fuck him. Did you see the stuff to do with Mark Gahey?
No.
Did you not? About the rainbow armband?
Oh, because of the Ipswich guy.
Now, I'd like to know if you actually know the answer to this. I've seen images of his armband saying, I love Jesus, but also Jesus loves you.
Okay.
And I've also seen in articles them quote both. So I don't actually know what he wrote.
So who is it? Is this Molesey or is this?
No, this is Mark Gahey.
I don't know.
Molesey refused to wear the armband full stop.
Yeah.
But Gahey wrote, I believe, I'm just going to go out here, I love Jesus on his rainbow armband.
I didn't see. They
And
did
people-
show a close up of it,
Yeah.
but I wasn't paying attention.
I've seen two different images of it. One where it says Jesus loves you,
And
and
I
one
love Jesus.
I love Jesus.
Okay.
And I've also seen, like I said, seen both quoted in articles
Okay.
about that's what he said. So I don't actually know which one he said. But because there was so much backlash over it, he actually came out and did like a very, very, very short interview about it where he literally just said one line and that was it.
Yeah.
And he basically, they asked him like what it meant, and he was like, I think it's fairly self-explanatory. It was just a message of love, truth, and inclusivity or something like that. Everything I've heard about him says he's a nice bloke.
Yeah.
I'd like to think it wasn't a like dig at gay people, or
Yeah.
because that's how it's being made out.
Oh,
Is that
right,
he's
is
being
it?
disapproving of, because apparently
Why would he wear it then?
because apparently he's quite religious. Well, they're saying that because he didn't want to refuse to wear it to look bad, he then defaced it with a religious message to push that rather
I don't
than
think so.
I'd like to think
I would like to think if he's put that message on because Jesus loves everybody. He's saying Jesus loves everybody. It doesn't matter if you're gay, trans,
That's
whatever you
what I'd
want
like
to
to
do. That's
think.
what I'd like to think. That's what I'd.
Yeah.
Like, gay doesn't seem that type of bloke who would be that.
No, and even when he was giving his answer, he looked quite like shocked that people
Yeah.
even would think
Yeah,
it's. Do you think we should, or football, I say football should stop pushing these sort of agendas? Because it keeps coming up, whether it's the poppy, whether it's rainbow stuff, whether
yeah.
it's trying to force women into football.
I think it's just it's your beliefs. If you want to do it, you let them do it.
Because there is a strange like cognitive dissonance to it. Like it doesn't quite feel right in the sense of like Sam Morsey refused to wear it on the grounds that he's a
his
Muslim.
religion, yeah, Muslim, and it's against his faith, isn't it?
So
Which I get.
we're annoyed at someone for being intolerant because we're being intolerant of their religion,
Yeah.
of their religious beliefs. How I personally feel about it is that the implication from religious people about gay people is that it's a choice to be gay. Whereas I personally believe, and I think it's widely accepted, that it isn't a choice. You're born however you're born, whether you're gay, straight,
yeah,
bi,
100%.
however you may identify. Whereas religious people tend to believe, and not all of them, there's a lot of moderate religious people who absolutely embrace gay people and
Yeah.
will be around them and have no issue with them whatsoever. But might still object to wearing a rainbow armband because although they may accept gay people exist, they don't want to promote that.
Yeah.
That I could be more comfortable with. If it's that what it feels like by refusing to wear it personally is that it is being homophobic. And I personally think the societal choice and belief that however you choose to identify sexually is how you are. It's not something you're choosing. It's not a sexual preference. You're born
yeah,
that
of course
way.
you are. Yeah.
That for me trumps any religious
Yeah.
belief you have.
Yeah.
And then when you add into the context with Sam Morsey, that he was happy to play for teams that had betting sponsors on the front of his shirts, which although he doesn't have control over, he has control of whether to play for those clubs or not. So you could argue if he's being
Because that's against his religion as well,
considerate about his
Yeah, yeah.
religion, he would look into those sort of things. Or even he might not want to go play at, I don't know if it's still called it, but Stoke Stadium, it used to be the Bet 365,
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
it? He might go, well, actually, no, I'm not going to play that
Yeah,
game because
no.
I'm not going to play at a stadium. And I doubt he's ever done that. Do you know
No.
what I mean? So to me, that's what makes me feel it more than anything that it's a homophobia thing
Okay.
rather than
Yeah.
a religious thing.
Yeah, yeah,
and I
maybe.
think the homophobia comes from his religion
Yeah.
because he takes it far more seriously than perhaps he should.
Yeah.
And maybe that's unfair of me to say someone that's been religious their entire life shouldn't be hardline about their religion. But I think if
I'm
it's
Yeah. My point of view is it's if it's your belief, then you don't have to do it. I get why if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't want to do it.
yeah.
It's down to
But
him.
I
It's
don't
down to
personally
him.
see how wearing a rainbow armband is going against his religion. Because what the rainbow flag is a symbol of inclusivity.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been co-opted by the LGBTQ plus,
Yeah.
but it's been particularly with the rainbow campaigns, it's to promote inclusivity, not just gay people, but all sorts of people. And most of those things, or those sort of identifications people have, aren't included within Islam. You won't find anywhere in scripture anything about someone who's trans or
Yeah.
so like there's no actual reason why someone who is Muslim should have an issue with the majority of people that come under LGBTQ+,
BTQ,
because the only thing that would have probably been mentioned in Islam will be homophobia.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think
And the thing is,
it's
I
down to
have
the individual.
zero issue with Muslims, by the way. I've been a big advocate for supporting Palestine and the people of Palestine, and the vast majority of Palestinians are Muslim.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, most of the time, religion doesn't matter to me whatsoever, to be honest with you. But I have an issue with it in this regard. I don't like the fact he refused to wear it.
Oh, yeah. No.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gay.
Oh, wow. Straight after supporting gay people. But yeah, in terms of the question, we didn't quite answer it in terms
What
of...
was the question?
Should football stop trying to push these things? Do you think? Because it keeps becoming
It just keeps
becoming
a massive
because
thing.
the thing is, the argument I can accept is that within football, you've got people from all walks of life.
Oh, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So you're going to keep running into these issues. For me personally, I think we should keep doing it because I think we have to find a solution to these things.
Yeah, because it's all about, as you said, that flag is more that the rainbow flag is all about inclusivity.
Yeah,
You got to make football inclusive for everybody.
yeah, and the fact we still don't have openly gay footballers anywhere near the top flight or in any professional league really in this country. I think there's one maybe that I know of, but I can't remember his name.
No.
But
Yeah, I think there are a couple. I think there are a couple playing the
But
championship.
most of the time, they don't come out until after they finish playing.
Yeah.
Like Thomas Hitzelsberger was one of the famous ones, and
Yeah.
he's a player I'd put in like the Barclaysman
Yeah.
category in
Yeah.
terms of like absolute.
Prime Barclays
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, but he did not feel comfortable coming out until he finished his
retired.
career. And actually, to be fair, one of the things that made me stop enjoying going to football matches was the stuff I was hearing at football
The
grounds. I just
homophobia.
didn't enjoy
Yeah.
it. Not even just homophobia, it was
Okay.
everything. Whether it was sexism, whether it was just the shit people said to players. I just didn't like it.
Fair
Like,
enough.
having a laugh, I don't mind. Like I remember, who did he play for? Lee Camp.
With
and it was
Bristol City
maybe,
or
but
Nottingham Forest. No, Nottingham Forest.
maybe.
The keeper.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
And he's down the Palace, he's down the Holmesdale end in one of the games, and every time he kicked or touched the ball, we were like, ooh, because his name was Camp.
Yeah.
So like something like that, it's complete. But if you're like hurling homophobic abuse or it's just not very nice.
No.
So yeah.
Fair enough.
Would you stop going to football games if they had a streaming service that was cheap? No, that's the thing. But the thing is, again, you're the sort of enforces the point.
I'd rather go watch live football than
totally.
watch it on TV.
If you're someone who wants to go and watch live football, it's not going to affect how you approach it whatsoever. Right, a slightly different subject now. Yeah, go on, Alex. You're pressing those buttons.
Found it.
How are you feeling with the mic now? You said you didn't.
Yeah,
like
no,
it.
it's okay. I'm
You're
still
more comfortable with the box.
I'm still in the box.
Well, that's fair enough.
Okay.
We can't have everything.
Why not?
Because I said so.
Oh, it's not very
Just gotta
inclusive.
accept it.
Inclusive.
It's
is
just
it?
the world we live in, mate. You can't have everything. You know, you can't have this raw sexual charisma and then get everything your own
As
way.
I said to you yesterday, keep it in your pants, man.
Never.
No, okay.
Normally, you're not in for that. Do you know what I mean? We've had some personal moments together over the
Always.
years.
Where's the foot? Where's the foot? Where's the foot?
It's because I'm sat quite far.
Oh, there you go. There you go. We're playing footsie underneath the table.
One of the things that has taken the nation by storm in the last week or so,
Wicked?
in terms of dominating, no, fuck Wicked.
No, that's gone massive though.
Has it?
Yeah.
So the thing is, I went to see the stage show of that.
Okay.
I thought it was dog shit.
Did you really think it was bad?
I thought it was really bad. It's the worst musical I've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
And do you know what it is?
I listened to the soundtrack and I like
Every
it.
trailer you ever see for it has one particular line in it, and it's the only good line in the entire musical, which is like, and I'm going to massacre this, is like, when I'm defying gravity.
Yeah.
And it's such a good line in the way she sings, it's perfect. And then you go to watch it, and I'm like, well, at least I know one song I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
The rest of that song's dog shit. That's the only good bit of that song.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I didn't like the characters.
I've
heard
said
Ariana Grande's good in it.
Yeah. So I haven't seen the film, and
But I've also heard she looks anorexic at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, I didn't want to talk about Wicked.
Okay,
Are you a
cool.
big Wicked fan?
No, not seen it.
Are you a musical theatre?
I
fan
like a
in
little
general?
bit of musical theatre.
Me too.
Yeah.
My favourite's probably Phantom of the Opera.
Book of Mormon.
I've not seen it. I
Oh,
wouldn't mind seeing it. I've heard very
brilliant.
good things.
Brilliant.
I don't know if you'd have been on this trip, but there was a school trip I went on once, and it was like an off West End production of Jailhouse Rock.
All right, okay.
And that was amazing. And that was one of the ones where you could like stand up and you were allowed to sing.
Okay, cool.
Because I've seen Mamma Mia.
Oh, you see Mamma Mia? Oh,
I was in the front row for Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Well, I saw Lion King. Lion King's good.
Yes, Lion King was really good. Me and Jake got Groupon tickets to that one.
Nice.
That were like £15 each.
Yeah.
But the understudy to Simba was shit. That was the only thing.
Oh.
Like the young Simba was crap.
Okay.
So we were like, the director probably got noshed off by his mum.
Brilliant.
Very sexist of us. But yeah, the subject I
Young
wanted to
and
talk
innocent, weren't you, there back then?
Oh God, I don't know how old I would have been back then. Yeah. But the story that's taken the nation by storm is Gregg Wallace.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Have you ever been a fan of MasterChef?
I love it, but I
love MasterChef. I've always been a fan.
I've always heard that he's been a bit of a cunt though.
Really?
Yeah.
The first time I ever got, and it was the first thing I thought of when all the allegations came out about him, was me and Jake talked about him before because he did an article or an interview in a magazine where it was like a day in the life of, or a week in the life of Gregg Wallace. And he walked you through like what he gets up to day to day. And he's got a highly autistic son that he spends 30 minutes a day with.
Oh, wow.
Like he broke down his day, 30 minutes was assigned for spending time with his kid. The rest of it was like playing Total War on his computer or going... And for some reason, he had to go to the gym half an hour early every day. And the person had to let him in early every day so he could have the gym to himself for a bit.
Okay. Sounds like a cunt.
So yeah, that was and before that, I'd never heard anything.
Apparently, Sean Locke said it ages ago on 8 out of 10 Cats.
Okay, fair enough.
Just not a nice person.
I mean, the thing is, there's an overarching issue. I mean, the allegations against him is that he's exposed himself to women, inappropriate touching, inappropriate comments.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones that came out was he came into a room just wearing a sock in front of female colleagues.
Oh wow, okay.
He apparently likes telling people the shit he does to his wife. Like Kirsty Allsop of Location. She came out and said they were filming a pilot for something together, and Gregg's wife was in the room, and she left the room, and he immediately she's maybe been here half an hour, and he tells me what they'd done this morning sexually. Oh, wow. And she said I was so uncomfortable, and apparently he was just up to that all the time.
Wow.
He then tried to defend himself and did a video where he basically said he's upset women of a certain age, basically saying it's middle-aged women coming after him, and he's not actually done anything. And then he said, I've probably worked with thousands of contestants over the years, and I've only ever had 13 complaints.
Yeah, still 13 complaints though, mate.
Well, that's it. Like, if me or you had 13 complaints of inappropriate, not just complaints, right, by the way, because if I had 13 customers complain about me, I'd probably lose my job.
Yeah.
Like, probably the same for you. If you had 13 people complain.
I'm with union, so union, baby.
That's true. I mean, I am a union rep now. So,
oh,
wow. Shoot, we could be in here for a second.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
No, not the third one.
That's not bad for you.
It's all right. It's all right.
I've been around you and you've had like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So I was in for the long haul there. But there seems to be this overarching issue of when men are in a position of privilege and power. And the thing is, like he's not. It's not
massive privilege or power.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's not even like.
He's not an A-list celebrity.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And the problem is, even with him, it's been quite clear already that the BBC did absolutely fuck all. That people kept raising concerns to them.
Have the BBC ever done anything about that and stuff like that?
The one thing I heard in the defence of the BBC was from Richard Osman. He has a podcast called The Rest Is Entertainment.
Yep.
With another lady whose name I forget, because I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
But he said the problem is with these shows is the BBC have nothing to do with the actual making of MasterChef. It will be a production company. So the complaints would have been made to the production company, and they would have not wanted to have, because Gregg's employed by the BBC. But he's now working for them. But they need to have a good relationship with the BBC to maintain
that relationship with
the
Gregg.
BBC and with Gregg. So they then don't want to pass on bad information because it's going to... And I was like, well, then that's a fault on both sides because the BBC aren't checking up on what's going on, and these production companies are more interested in protecting themselves rather than the people that
Yeah.
are employed by them. But it just seems to be constantly happening again and again that men are just behaving like scumbags.
Stupid.
And not even
Yeah.
just like people like him, but any man that's in a position of like...
Given a little bit of power.
I don't know about you. In the workplace, I've never seen it as a place for like, oh, I might meet women here.
Yeah.
Do you know? I've just never had that
No,
attitude.
never have I.
And for a large chunk of my career, that might be because I was a manager and I was always really conscious of how I behaved with colleagues as a manager.
Yeah.
And particularly towards women, because because the thing is, for me, I'm a big, tall guy, and I can look like a bit of a miserable bastard a lot of the times, especially at work. So I was always really conscious of I never wanted to come across as intimidating or creepy or anything like that. And it was only if people showed me they wanted to have more of a
bit of a banter.
Then that was when I would.
Yeah.
Like I worked with one woman; she was Romanian, and we used to say Romanian slurs to one of to each other. And our boss was also Romanian, but a bloke, and he was horrified. And he'd have a go at her, but we would like say, for our Romanian, this is suj pula, which was suck my dick.
Okay.
And I would say to her, Andrea, suj pula, if she said something I didn't like, and our boss would be like, and then he'd have a go at her rather than teaching me
Teaching you bad words.
Yeah, so like, but I wouldn't do that with just any woman I worked with.
Yeah.
You
have to build that relationship first.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And like, I'm not really someone who necessarily tries to make friends at work. I'm just interested in going in, doing my job, and going home.
See,
but if you're
the other way around.
But it changes the longer you're working somewhere. Like my last job, I worked there a very long time, and in some of the stores a very long time. So you do naturally become closer to people and get to know them. But if I'm otherwise, I don't. I just keep to myself, really.
That's the thing, because I prefer work when I've got a relationship with the people who I work with.
Yeah.
Even if it...
But you've worked where you've worked a long
for
time.
10 years,
Yeah, so I think, the longer you are somewhere, the more naturally
it will come,
But I wouldn't... It's the same as when I meet new people. Like, Jake's got into a new relationship, and I wouldn't dream of, like, now I've got to know her, and she's joked with us, I will happily make jokes with her. And I like it when someone new enters the group of friends. When they do that, because it's like, oh, they must feel comfortable enough around us to do it. But I wouldn't dream of doing it initially. Do you know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I can't personally understand how men go out there and behave like this, but it's clearly an issue with us. That this keeps happening.
Is it of a certain generation as well, though?
No, like, there's a really nasty statistic, right, that men are more likely to have an affair or cheat on their partner the more women they work with.
Okay.
And that can even be men who work in a girls' primary school. And it's not because they're attracted to young women, it's just for some reason, mentally and biologically, the more women we're around, the more we want to procreate and do stuff.
Fair enough.
Does that mean I think that's an excuse for men
not.
behaving like scumbags?
It's not.
No, I mean, I actually think, personally, this is an unpopular opinion, I think most men have a scumbag inside of them.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's just how tightly you have a grip on that.
Yeah.
Like, we all have dark thoughts. We all do, like, we've all made mistakes. Like, the way I behaved when I was younger was nothing like Gregg Wallace or anything like that.
No.
But I didn't treat women well when I was younger.
No.
So, like, there's scales of it. But I think all of us are a bit scumming to a degree. And I think it's why this was sound like a weird reaction to the Gregg Wallace thing, but I think men's mental health is really important, and not for him, but I think for men going forward, for men from a young age, for young boys and teenagers, I think we need to put a lot more emphasis in making sure men are in the right headspace, because we're seeing it more and more with incels and people like, and as soon as men go out into the world, they're not equipped to behave themselves properly, and I don't know why that is. Like, me and you, I think we've been quite lucky in our group of friends. I don't think we have anyone, I'd like to think we don't have anyone who'd be at risk of this sort of behaviour. I think we've got quite a nice group of lad mates that are all good blokes. And I can't really remember any behaviour from any of our friends that I would have been...
You think like, really?
I need to pull him up on that, or we need to have a conversation.
Right.
But there was one, but it was an extreme situation, and it only ever happened once, and you could put it down to... everyone had been drinking and there was a mistake and someone did something I would like to think they regret.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. And at the time, they got pulled up on it, and to my knowledge, it's never happened again.
No.
So, I don't know.
Weird, isn't
do it
it?
ever worry you about men when you see all this stuff?
Yeah, it's disturbing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a bit. It's like,
'Cause I don't recognise
how you
it.
can go through life treating women like that.
Yeah.
It's just what again, as you said, what is going through your head? You're thinking that is okay.
Yeah.
I would never
No.
think of doing
But like
stuff
my
like that.
dad never sat me down and was like, don't be abusive
Yeah, to
towards
women.
women.
No.
Do you know what I mean? My sister, when I talk to her about these things, she'll say, yeah, but he led by example. He didn't treat
Yeah,
women that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
So you learnt just from osmosis
Yeah.
not to behave that way. I mean, he had some conversations with me. Like, he would be like, if it's a woman you don't know, this particularly when I was really young, like, don't treat them like they're a lad. Be respectful.
Yeah,
treat
yeah.
them like you were talking to your mum or your nan, your sister. But if you become friends with someone, do treat them a bit more like a man. Like, don't
Yeah.
be afraid to be funny. Don't, like, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And there's some people that would say that approach is bad, telling them to treat women differently. But I do think you should, not just women, but everyone.
Everybody,
you should
treat
adjust how
everybody-
you
adjust
treat
women.
everyone based
Yeah,
off of where
100%, 100%.
their limits are, their barriers,
yeah,
and
yeah.
things like that. So yeah,
Like,
and
I think
consider
even
you-
in our friendship group, I will interact with some person one way, and I'll interact with you
Yeah,
a completely different
totally.
way
yeah,
because I know how
Well,
we
everyone
how
is different,
everyone's
isn't it?
different.
yeah, and like we've had to learn those lessons over the years.
Yeah, of course
like,
we have.
we're all quite brutal to each other, and we've had a couple of people that just couldn't
Take it.
take it. And
Yeah.
to be honest, that's completely fair. I
Yeah.
don't judge them for that.
No.
If anything, I wish they would have said something, or that I'd have been open
Yeah.
enough at the time
There's a
to.
couple of times where
Like we had,
somebody has like I've like tried to get hold of somebody, blah blah blah. And obviously they've had a problem with me. I'd rather them come up and talk to me about why have
Yeah.
you got a problem with me.
yeah, I think
I would rather you be brutally honest to me than
yeah.
be a dick and just
Or
say
like
fuck
chat
it.
about me behind
Yeah,
my back.
100%.
And, yeah, no,
100%.
totally.
100%.
I think I definitely feel that way more than when I was younger. I used to sort of enjoy the drama and
Yeah.
everything. But now I'm like, life's too fucking
It is way
short
too
to
short.
be like. And I genuinely, if any of my mates are listening to this, if you ever do have an issue with me, like just talk to me about it. I like to think
You're a
I'm.
cunt.
Yeah, but then we can get into the why am I a cunt, and then we can. Is there something I
It's
can
just-
work? If it's just
yeah.
my general vibe, there's not really a lot I can do about that. I am who I am.
Just who it is, isn't it?
But if it's like specific actions,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
things, like, I'd like it if people came and talked to me about it because
You get messages from everybody now, it's like, all these.
they're
different
coming through
things.
already. How is this happening?
Sunday, you're going to be eagerly waiting by your phone, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry,
I'll be at work.
Press
Mama
another one.
like that. Mama like that.
I like that sound like. But yeah, no, look, I think Gregg Wallace is quite clearly a scummy individual.
Oh, yeah.
His career will be
He's
done
it's
now.
well
He's
over now.
finished.
But apparently, the guy who does MasterChef with
John Turode.
apparently he's trying to stand up for him a little bit. I'm not on sure that he won't do the show if Gregg
different.
Wallace doesn't want.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or something.
See, to be honest, that makes me think a lot less of John Turode. And the reason I say that is I get they've worked together a very long
Yeah.
time. But if anything, that makes me question, because whenever these things happen, and particularly when you find out it's happened over a long period
Yeah.
of time, you do start to go like,
Don't
how
quote
do
me
you
on it. It
not
was just
know?
something I saw.
No,
pop
that's
up.
fair
I'm
enough.
not 100% sure.
But I judge him for this in general. That
Yeah.
like, how would he not have known how
Known,
Greg was
yeah,
behaving?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But he got with one of the contestants on Professional. Not,
Yeah, well, I
on
think
Celebrity
that's all right.
MasterChef,
They're
didn't he?
married. And,
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Is it Liz? It's not Liz McColgan, is it?
my
It's-
mum would know.
I can't remember her name, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Because they do like work together.
they do
now
work
and stuff.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like she helps him with like his chefy
Look, there's
stuff.
nothing
and everything
wrong
like
with
that.
people meeting each other
Yeah.
at work. I just think everything has to be on the up and up.
Oh God, I'm just looking
Oh,
through the sound bites. You just wait.
I'm just in constant fear, and it's because from this angle it looks like you're going to touch something
Touch
else.
something
and I'm
else.
like, no, don't touch
the
anything.
record button.
That wouldn't do anything.
Oh,
to
okay,
be
it's not
fair.
going to do anything.
That's all being controlled over this side.
Oh yeah, you pressed the button.
The only thing you could do is like turn me off.
Oh.
You could mute me.
I can do 1 sec. That. Yeah.
There you go. You notice I deliberately didn't tell you how to do that before it started. I showed you how to press sound bites. Oh.
I haven't done enough of this, so I just want to do this. I haven't done enough of it.
That has never happened before.
Just press
For
soundbite.
anyone listening, I apologise for what's happening right now.
They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling.
I said you would regret it. I 100%
No, look, I
said
made
you'd
the decision to
regret
put it over there for the episode. So look, it's on my head as much as it's on yours. You don't like that one though.
I don't know. I just said I didn't like it.
No, you wanted it turned off last time. You know, it's too distracting.
Oh no, it was just going on for ages and
yeah,
ages.
yeah,
and
it's like a
ages.
2-minute clip.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Okay, it's too long.
because the idea was that it was an atmospheric background to
okay.
giving people advice.
Oh, last one. Okay.
The tension's palpable.
It is. Oh dear.
Is there any... I wasn't ready for the. Bow, 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 bow. I'll tell you what. The last thing I just want to talk about. I found out something mental recently. Have you ever heard of something called Operation Paperclip?
No.
So basically, after World War II, America took 1,600 Nazi scientists, engineers, and technicians.
Okay.
And brought them over to America to basically help them escape justice and
Okay.
facing the repercussions of being part of the Nazi party and doing evil things.
All right. Okay.
And one of them, I've got it here. Where's his name? Werner von Braun became one of the heads of NASA and helped put men on the moon,
Oh wow.
working for NASA after World War II.
Oh wow.
They even went as far as there was something called the Nuremberg trials, which was to help the high-profile Nazis face justice after the war. The ones that went, because I didn't realise some of them got hanged.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, I was watching videos after finding out about Operation Paperclip. I didn't know a lot about the Nuremberg trials.
I think quite a lot of the
They hanged
Nazi,
quite a few of the high
yeah.
up ones, the ones that didn't disappear or.
Oh, there's I think there's
Some of them
killed,
took their own
killed
lives.
themselves.
Yeah. I mean, there's even a conspiracy theory that Hitler escaped.
Yeah, and it's now
Because they've never actually found his remains.
No, they found the remains of.
But it's a woman. The
The
ones they found is of a woman.
I think they did find because they burned the body, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And it was. I think they have found it is a man and a woman because it's either Braun and it was Hitler.
I swear I read something where they were.
It was both, but they can't 100% identify that it was Hitler.
I mean, I like the idea. I mean, it's true that Nazis escaped to Argentina, and there's cities in Argentina that like do Oktoberfest and they speak German, and there's loads of white, blonde people wandering around. Like that's not suspicious in Argentina. But yeah, sorry. Back to Operation
Paperclip.
Learning about the Nuremberg trials was fascinating.
Yeah,
but they even took the ones that got imprisoned.
Yeah.
They took because I didn't know after World War II, us, Russia, America
and France
controlled Germany for
Did
a
you
bit.
not know that?
No, I mean, look, it was a long time ago. We were in school, and I've not.
Yeah,
I
so Russia had East
yeah,
Germany.
we split it into four for a bit, didn't we, to
yeah.
keep them under control.
And then the Americans and the French came West Germany, and the
and
Soviets
then East Germany, wasn't it?
No, and then the Soviets kept East Germany.
Yeah. But as part of the deal to like give them more of their country back and more freedom, America negotiated a deal where they took some of the Nuremberg people that were in prison and freed them in America to give them jobs in America.
Oh, okay. Because America helped rebuild West Germany.
Yeah.
They just load of money, just
But you know what we did after the war? We had 400,000 prisoners of war that were given to us mostly by America, actually.
Okay.
And we used them as basically slaves to rebuild and to work on our farms. And there was debates in Parliament about how long to use them for and like whether we were going to let them go or just keep them.
Do you know how long?
No, I can't remember how long now, but we did end up, I think 40,000 out of the 400,000 ended up staying and the rest all returned to Germany. Or to wherever they were living in Europe at the time. But the reason I wanted to talk about it was through doing that, because the justification from America, because originally it was all in secret, but when
Yeah.
it eventually came out, the justification was basically if we didn't do it, the Russians were going to.
Yeah.
And they did take loads as well, the Russians. And it's been responsible for, as I said, like America landing on the moon, because they couldn't do it before and they were struggling, and like Russia was beating them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's creation of like nuclear weapons. Our technology in general benefited from it happening.
Yeah.
But I disagree. I don't think they should have done it. What do you think? Do you think? Because the thing is, for me, the Holocaust is I personally,
yeah, but
it's
is
the
it? Would these scientists? What are they? Are they? Were they involved?
They would have been.
They
were involved in all sorts of things. Some of them were involved in the experiments on Jews.
Yeah.
Some of them were involved in creating like toxic gases and diseases to kill Jews. Some of them were creating the weapons that were being used to kill Jews.
I think again, you need to think of the times of when it happened as well. It's
I don't know.
But you got to think straight after the World War II, you got Cold War, and it's the Russians, and we don't want anything going. They didn't want anything going into the Russians' hands. So if that's the problem. There was that mindset. We don't want
we didn't want Russia being too powerful. No, look, and I get that.
And that's why
I don't think that justifies
I think,
it,
as
though.
you said, it doesn't justify how it is now. Yeah, if you think looking back on it,
look, we've all benefited from it.
But you look back on it retrospectively, that's a bit dodgy. We shouldn't have done that. But
like for me, there's a reason they did it in secret, because people wouldn't have been okay with it at the time had they known.
Yeah, probably not. But it was a way to try and win the Cold War as well.
Yeah.
And I think you got to think of that's how their mindset was. We will do anything to
and accept people that took part in.
Yeah, no, mate, it's 100%. 100%. I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate.
I understand the logic of it. I completely understand the logic of it.
But I don't. 100%. It's not right. 100%. It wasn't right. It's
and
just weird.
I can't say that I think it. Difficult to say whether it was worth it. I personally don't think morally it's worth it.
No, of course it's not.
But someone might be able to work out the mass of like how many lives have been saved by potentially, because some of the people that came over worked on vaccines and things like that. So look, they had a benefit to society, and there's an intellectual argument to have about how much control individuals had over their own lives in Nazi Germany.
Exactly.
But I would argue overall, for Nazi Germany to exist, you'd have to say most Germans were okay with what were going on.
But most Germans didn't know. Well, obviously, it was the massive Jew thing but they didn't know. The majority of the German public
might not have known
about the Holocaust or anything like that. And I think so. It was because
but they believed in an Aryan race. They believed in the things he was espousing. They might not have known they were killing.
It was what happened about 10 years before the Nazi Party come into power.
Oh no, yeah. Look, Nazis came along because how much we fucked over Germany after World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, wasn't it?
But then, obviously, again, what helped before that was you know what massively caused World War II?
Go for it. Tell me.
Wall Street crash.
Really?
Because
the First World War was Archduke Ferdinand, wasn't it?
After World War One, America gave some money to Germany to help rebuild a little bit afterwards.
Because they owed huge money in reparations.
They were like, well, they were more or less saying, well, if this keeps carrying on, we're going to go into another war. So America just went, there's some money, go and live prosperously for a bit, and then pay us back when you can.
Yeah.
And then about 2 or 3 years later, the Wall Street crash happens. America's just turned around and said, Germany, we want our money back. So that's when Germany went back into poverty, and then that's when
created the rise of the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the deprivation and desperation within Germany 100% contributed to it.
Yeah, 100%.
But those people still chose to believe in what they believed in. And what concerns me is I feel like slowly there is a rise, not in Nazi sentiment, but right-wing sentiment going on in the world. And we're seeing it in our country where the answer to our poverty and what we're struggling with isn't the systemic issues in our country. They're the brown people over there. That's what we're being told. And too many people believe in that. And at the moment, they might not be the majority, but they are a chunk enough of the country that they're going to have a massive sway in the next general election.
I just said they're probably the third biggest party who got votes in the general election.
Well, yeah, in terms of actual votes, 100%. If we had a proportional representation,
they would have been the third biggest party.
They would have been the third biggest party, 100%. And that's why I'm a bit surprised. Jake told me last night by text that there's been a vote on, and it's a very early vote, so it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but about discussing introducing proportional representation.
Oh, okay.
It's a long way off of happening, but it's the first time it's ever made it past the stage it has.
Fair enough.
And I'm surprised if Labour are supporting that in any way, because I actually think, despite they've got a huge majority, so many of their seats were marginal, as were the Lib Dems, but the Lib Dems won it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the parties that stand to gain the most from it are the Conservatives and Reform.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah. But it just concerns me seeing the rise in the right. And I just feel like we're not learning any lessons. I just feel like we're not learning anything.
I think we'd be more, like, now we're more educated. If something like that will ever happen again, we'll kind of like try and stamp that out.
Look at Israel.
Yeah.
The victims of the biggest stain in human history, not all of them, but the country most of them live within, or is the homeland of Jewish people, their government is committing genocide on another people.
Yeah.
And like, if you'd have told me when I was a kid, when I was first learning about the Holocaust, that was going, because it was going on when we were kids, by the way.
Yeah.
They were taking land from Palestine and killing indiscriminately when we were children. It's been going on for 70 years, ever since Israel existed. So, like, but the fact that that's the world we live in, where a similar act, maybe not on the same scale, but the slow killing of a race of people is currently being carried out.
Yeah, yeah.
And most of the governments in the world aren't doing a fucking thing about it. We've just stopped sending them some of the weapons we were sending them. Cool, nice one.
Well, guys.
But we're still sending planes to spot out targets for Israel and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't necessarily agree that we would, because that was one of the things me and Jake talked about when the Palestine thing kicked off on October the 7th, was that we say, like, we talk about the Nazis and we talk about the Holocaust to prevent this sort of thing from happening.
But it is happening.
And the Germans, despite it being a big part of their culture to talk about it, are supporting a nation that is doing the same thing to another race of people. So that's what worries me more than anything, is that not to even mention nuclear Armageddon that could happen at the moment, because that's not really being talked about.
No.
And to be honest with you, I don't really want to, because there's not a lot we can
scary,
do about it. And but like, it's a bit like we could be hit by a meteor, but there's fuck all I can do about it. So I'm just going to wait to see what happens. And the only consolation I take from it is we'd be gone. Yeah. Like, we're in London. Yeah, yeah. So, like, if London would get hit, we're fine. Yeah. We're not going to feel anything. It's just over.
Yeah, 100%.
We're not left in the apocalyptic wasteland that exists afterwards. So. And that's a very positive note.
Yeah, great way to end the pod, mate.
Would you like to play a soundbite just to cheer us up? Just pick one. The awkward silence. I keep meaning to write down the social, so I can do
the email.
That's fine. I'll cue you when it's time. Cool. Point at the screen, Alex. Guys, you can contact us at Facebook at Crossing Swords. You can find us on Twitter at Swords Crossing. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at CrossingSwords_podcast. And if you fancy emailing us, you can do so at
CrossingSwords19@gmail.com.
You absolutely fucking can. Alex, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been a good one. I've really enjoyed it. Forgive me. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.